celebrating democracy and other national days. President Bola Tinubu's message to Nigerians is to keep hopes alive as his administration works to ensure democracy works for all. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
Femi Akonde joins me now from Abuja for more on this. Femi, it's been a day full of activities celebrating 25 years of unbroken democratic governance in Nigeria. Tell us more about this and the president's message of hope. All right, we'll get back to Femi in a moment. But I have with me here in the studio a June 12 activist and former chairman, Ward of Local Government, Ayodele Adewale. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And happy Democracy Day to you.
Yeah, thank you. Happy Democracy Day.
Because, you are one of the June 12 activists. And I would like you to just really share with us your story, that struggle for democracy in Nigeria, eventually having June 12 recognized as a National Democracy Day, and now celebrating 25 years of unbroken democratic governance.
Wow, we wouldn't have enough time to talk about it, but I would say it started from the SAP riot. I was in St. Gregory's College, and the riot broke out, and we had to write SAP on our shirt. And I remember I walked from Obalende down to Festac Town on the road. Moving forward many years after, the 1993 elections came, and that was the first time I casted my vote. I went with my dad and my mom, and we all stayed on our line. Our line was very long, and I also remember the song, that nostalgia song, on the march again, looking for Mr. President, on the march again, MKO, he's our man. We little ones were singing everywhere, but it was a very sorrowful event because in the evening of that day, General Babangida was on TV and the election was annulled. And the following day was riots, burning of tires, shooting people, and all that. Moving forward, I gained admission into the Lagos State University. I was coming to campus on this fateful day, and I saw a group of people under the tree. We call it Abegi at LNH. I saw a man under the tree addressing the student, and behold, it was Chief Gani Fawemi. I would go to school then with my camera. I love taking pictures, and I took pictures of him. And the Operation Sweep came into campus. It was unprecedented. They would rather stay outside the gate. They wanted to arrest Chief Gani Fawemi, and they were shooting tear gas and shooting into the air. And the student had to whisk Chief Gani Fawemi away to safety and take him out of campus. Then I joined the Student Union Parliament. I exchanged my lab gown, my lab coat for the academic gown of the Parliament as a 100 level student. And I ran for election in 200 level and became the president of the union. And I also carried on the struggle as a then. And S.O.B. Agumbiade was president before I became, and I remember that he had launched in working with Onitiri Abiola, they launched Youth Honestly Demand for Abiola as against Youth Honestly Demand for Abacha, which was launched by Daniel Kanu. As a then, he wanted to organize a 1 million-man march for Abacha, so we had to counter him. And we started moving from state to state, with our 1414 bus. I remember we were going to Ife, there was no headlamp. So we drove the bus around 10 to Ife. And the moon came to our rescue because by the time we got to Ibadan, we couldn't go further, but the moonlight, everywhere was very bright, and we drove to Ife. And the Ife people had locked the gate, so I had to come down from the bus, try to open the gate. And if you know the Ife gate, then it was a dwarf gate, and it had sickles on it. So I pulled it. While the bus was coming in, the sickle was almost taking away my rib. So I had to, escape it a little bit. And we continued, with the advocacy.
It's been a struggle.
And all that, and the rest is history.
The rest indeed is history, and I can say you're an embodiment of the struggle yourself. And looking at one of the points that the president raised during, the Democracy Day dinner, which ended just a while ago, he spoke about the unity of Nigeria. And he did, mention the fact that our complexity and diversity are actually the best routes to success. How do you say we harness these?
You see, the unity of Nigeria actually lies on different nationality groupings, different understanding on the concept of unity, on the concept of togetherness and individuality. And that is what makes us strong, because there's always a common denominator, which is love for country. And that's why you see Nigerians all over the world, they keep excelling. And whenever they find themselves, the bond is much stronger than it is while they're here in Nigeria. And every Nigerian have been given a God gift in them. And that is why in any retrospect that you find Nigeria taking advantage of that process, you see them towering very high. I don't want to say even in criminality, you see them going very high. Academics, they go very high, sport and all of that. But the love for country is more in-depth in us. And I think that was what the president was talking more about, that we should look more on our togetherness in trying to build the country. Yes, it's laying the foundation for a more robust economic structure that will not be hinged or will not be supported by some invisible forces, or it will be piloted by the prevailing contemporary realities that any economic foundation should be put on. And I believe as we journey on that things will get very, very good for our economy.
Well, that's the hope that many Nigerians have, and the president has said that they would send an executive bill on the minimum wage, and it will be something that Nigeria can afford. He stressed that also. Okay, thank you very much for talking to us. June 12 activist and former chairman, Amu Ward of Local Government, Ayodele Adewale. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's now turn attention to Femi Akonde in Abuja. But before that, let's quickly bring you this. But in celebrating June 12 Democracy Day, a presidential dinner was held in honor of heroes of democracy. Many dignitaries graced the event with remarkable speeches.
The death of the junta, immediately after Abacha died. A few weeks later,